What's up, everybody? This review, we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Ketchup and Mustard, the Mass Device, Target exclusive Joe Diver, and the Cobra Diver. So, pretty cool getting this set. I didn't get in on the pre orders when they initially came out, but I was able to kind of order them off the app after their release. Pretty cool to get these guys. Love that red and yellow. We're getting more Mass Device characters, that sort of thing. It'd be interesting comparing them to some of the other divers that we got. Looks like it's going to be a lot of reuse, but in a good way. They always have been so far been doing a good job with the reuse sort of thing. The paint apps definitely make it feel very different. But yeah, here we go. Here's the window. You can see both divers, and you got a couple sets of heads, so you can change out the skin tones, get a couple of these, because you're going to want to have multiple divers, that sort of thing. So they want it to be as different as possible for you. And yeah, we got the extra head sculpts, their gear, everything like that. You got the masked logo down here. Got the side, a couple of the characters there. You got the back with them underwater fighting. You got those giant eels. You've got another red in the back. Got one of the elements. See some of that scuba gear. And yeah, let's get them open and check them out. So when you get these guys outside of the packaging, you can see all of their accessories. You get the knife, the spear guns, everything like that. The one thing I do want to make sure is that you don't, it's easy. You turn this flap out and then you slide the package out. But if you're not careful, on the back part of it are the fins, and they're tied down. But I slid this out initially, but I was able to glance down and just happened to catch the yellow. So I was like, wow, okay. Just thought I'd let y'all know, just double check for that. Don't forget that they're on there. All right, so these guys are pretty much the exact same bodies. There might be one thing different here or there, but I'm pretty sure everything is exactly the same except for the paint. So articulation, I'll go through one time for all of them, and that goes for both. But for now, we'll do like we always do and just kind of go through the accessories. Bring these guys to the side. So we'll start with our Joe Diver. We're going mustard. So for him, he's got this other head sculpt here. Looks really good. We got the lighter skin tone. Got a little scar on the right side under the cheek. This looks like they try to give him like little freckles in there. So pretty cool. Nice little face sculpt in there though. And we'll check out some other divers to see if they're similar. We've got our fins. Nice that they got the yellow on there, top and bottom. Our pack, Joe logo, yellow on there. We can store some stuff. Little ports for hoses. We've got our mask. It looks pretty good. So we've got this green lens, green on the inside. That's pretty cool. Got the yellow hoses again. Some silver there, which is nice. Glad that they added some paint there. Yeah, not bad. Knife. Yellow handle. Black blade. Nice longer blade. Nice silver. Black handle. We've got our submachine gun. Yellow stock. I'm glad they put yellow on it. I think that's pretty cool. Kind of a lot of the weapons, that everything that went for the Joes is got some kind of yellow on there, which helped me separate everything. And then we got the mag does drop out. Port on the end for an effect. Got our spear gun with a little light handle. Then we've got our Joe laser rifle. Yellow stock. And that is it for our Joe Diver. All right, now for our Cobra Diver. We'll show this one with the Cobra Diver. So we got the mass device piece here, one of the elements. And I believe this does open, and then you'll just get that in there. Nice silver on there. We got our little tube to help pull us through the water. Submersible. I believe that one of these used to spin, right? I think the inside one does actually spin. But you got this nice little radar on there. You got the gauge on the front, Cobra logo. Got the handles. Nice silver. We get our fins. Same fins. Just have the red on them. Top and bottom. We get alternate head sculpt. So we got our darker skin tone. I believe we've seen this guy before with our SEAL team. But we'll see later. Submachine gun. No red on it. Not like yellow on the end, like the Joe one. This one is just solid. Same exact thing though. This one comes with different kind of laser rifle. This one reminds me of like the Joe's first time coming out. Mag does not drop out, but like the very first wave, like Duke and them, like their weapons. That's what that kind of reminds me of for their laser rifle. Then we've got this shotgun looking one. Red, blue. Never then. We get the longer blade, same as the Joe Diver. Silver, black handle. We get our spear gun. We got the red handle here. Get our mask. This one's got blue lenses, silver, some red trim versus the Joe one had all that yellow. Different lenses. This one has the inside painted. This one does not. Then we get our different pack that it'll plug into. Cobra logo, of course. Different color, silver in there. Yeah. And that is it for. Oh wait, got a little knife here. I forgot. For our Cobra Diver. Red handle instead of the yellow. Now that's it for all of the Cobra Divers accessories. Now looking at our divers, they both look really good. Nice head sculpts on both of them. The harness looks to be the same except like inverted color. So this one's got a gray strap, black pouches, gray pouches, Joe symbol, Cobra symbol. This guy's got this nice little outline on his suit, that gray, versus the Joe doesn't have anything. It would have been kind of cool if he had a little outline there too. Just to help break up the color. This one makes it look a little nicer. But it looks to be the same exact sculpt all the way down. You got the little arm pieces that are a little different as far as the screen that's on there. This one's got more of a rectangle. This one's like a Cobra. So like Joe symbol there, I guess it looks like. And then Cobra symbol there. So they're detecting each other. You can see the hand sculpt's the same. You got the sculpt here. This is the same as that one, except it's not painted. Same belts. He's got the black pouches. This one is just solid gray. Again, you've got the outline all throughout the Cobra Diver suit. And the Joe one does not. Spot for your knife. So yeah, that's pretty much it for their looks. Everything's exactly the same. The zippers, everything. Just the outline on the Cobra Diver and then the difference on the little wrist gauntlet. Their tracking stuff. So for articulation, this goes for both of them because they're exactly the same. Head only goes down about that far. Looks up pretty good. But now you've got the joint at the base of the neck that helps them look down a little bit more. Kind of wish the head could go a little further back. Like I wish it had the hinge in there because I want it to look a little more like that. But I guess you could use the articulation to kind of have them floating through the water like that, and that's okay. But butterfly joint, T-pose, not bad. Upper bicep cut, double jointed pinless elbows, bend really nice. Hinge, rotation, all that in the wrist. Ab crunch, goes forward really far. I love that. Goes back really far also. Ball waist, drop down hips, legs goes forward about that far. Goes back to a little past neutral, barely. Upper thigh cut, double jointed pinless knees, little boot cut here at the base of the wetsuit. Then you got the hinge pivot in the foot and ankle. And that is it for their articulation. Now let's get some gear on them. Spice it up a little bit. So I changed out the faces on these. I had this head sculpt on there, and then I had this head sculpt on there, and I swapped them out for these ones for this next part. So I got most of their gear on. So the Joe Diver's got the fins, got his little knife in there, got the big one here, got his pack on, holding the submachine gun. Pretty much same setup for the Cobra Diver. Fins, knife, bigger knife, submachine gun. And then now that we saw those head sculpts on there, I'll go ahead and put their diver mask on. So just gonna slip his on, and then it plugs into the back of the pack here. Really cool. Hides pretty much most of the face. Can't see anything except for a little bit of skin tone there on the cheek. Then we'll do the same for our Cobra. Plug that in there in the back. And there is that. That's what they look like with their masks on, plugged in. Now they both come with their spear guns. Our Cobra Diver comes with 2 rifles versus the Joe one just comes with this one. Cobra Diver came with his little submersible. Help him get through the water. But the Joe one didn't, and I was kind of surprised by that. Here I got the Joe Diver holding the spear gun, and then our Cobra Diver with that rifle there. I also got his spear hanging from his arm, assuming kind of like he's floating through the water. This would also be kind of just floating attached to him. Kind of wish there was a better attachment point somewhere for him that could like hold it. Something like that. Maybe get some nice clear stands so that you can leave them like that. That'd be pretty cool. I'll probably have the diver doing the same thing because all he'll have left is pretty much this one. He'll have it on him, and then he won't have anything left over except for the head sculpt. Cobra came with a little bit more, so he'd have the other rifle, like the shotgun, just kind of sitting there, unless we use the little submersible. So I think this is how I'm going to leave these guys, pretty much with their laser rifles. And then leaving the spear gun attached to their elbows, just kind of wrapped around their arms. Leave them with the flippers on. And I think they look really cool looking at each other, you know? They won't be on the shelf together because I separate my Joes and Cobra and everything like that. But using them in a display together would be pretty fun. And um, he's going to go with the eel divers. He'll go with my probably with SEAL team. So yeah, kind of cool. All right, so how cool is this? It's comparison time with our divers. So we've got our Joe diver, Cobra eel, torpedo, and we got our seals. And from what I could tell, everybody's got the same body except for this eel. A couple changes on this guy, but some parts are also the same. But yeah, I mean, we can take our Joe diver and just kind of bring him this way. I don't have my flippers for torpedo. They are stored away. I think they're stored away, or they fell off inside the cabinet, and I just didn't want to grab them. But he also has some, and let's see, same body. You can see the lines going down here. Just no symbol down the chest. We got the same vest. We got the same mask, different colors. We've got that gray for the lens versus he's got that translucent green. We've got the sheath for the knife, submachine gun for this guy. I think he probably also had I think he had a spear gun also, if I remember right. That might be stored away also. No big knife, nothing like that. But then you got the packs. Same. Hold the submachine gun. Pretty much the same exact thing. Now, I'm going to take that part off. And because they're the same, we Cobra Diver and him, don't really need to go through that. But our Joe Diver, the alternate head or the head that comes on him, is this one. Looks to be exactly torpedo, just darker in the skin tone. Torpedo's a little bit lighter than this guy, which I thought it was going to be exactly the same, but yeah, just a little bit darker. I think the face is done better. Like the eyes portion. See if I can zoom in there a little bit. Yeah, I think this the same. Just the eyes done differently and maybe a little bit better. Maybe they got better at the paint apps since this guy's been released. Now we've got our SEAL team, which this one doesn't have everything on him either. My seals are set up differently on my shelf, but we can see this seal is so awesome. He came with so much. It just had a lot of things that could like fall off and that sort of thing. You've got his mask, his breather didn't go into the pack, so well, you've got the different packs. His had different things here, Cobra symbols. You had the little wording down here, and that was pretty much it. One of the cool things he had though was the extra vest on his character, and that's where you could store some fins, and I love that you could store it on him. There's other fins in the shelf, but so you get the hooks there. This guy doesn't have anything. Pretty much always going to have them on. Not getting out of the water for nothing. But yeah, his mask. So he had another vest, another little life vest on there, breather thing. He had everything on this guy. He was so stocked up, and then it plugged into the front of his vest. And there's another gauge that sits on front that's not on him right now, but that's the difference between their mask, plugging into the back and not plugging into the back. And then you'll take that part off, and face looks, I don't know, it looks kind of the same, but this one's got the little scar there. So we're going to take this guy off the Cobra one. Oh, that's the one that's got the, forgot to switch the head sculpts there. That's a little tough to tell. I kind of feel like this Joe Diver is him. It's just painted differently. Even this guy kind of looks like him too. Just painted differently. So all three of them kind of look the same, so it's kind of hard to tell. Just because of the paint apps. And that's cool. That's cool that the paint can alter it so much. But these two divers, the new diver head sculpts, look like they've got better paint on them than the SEAL team. Just probably the same reason as Torpedo. They've, it's been a while. They've gotten better, since their release. Here's a close up at the Eels helmet and stuff like that, and you can see the difference there. It's pretty obvious. He didn't have anywhere to store the flippers either, but same backpack. It just goes to that helmet, which is awesome. I love it. They got the same flippers. This is the retro version. And of course, underneath he's got this whole mask here, so it doesn't match anybody. You pull this one off. I did earlier. And same head sculpt, just painted different. This one is just a little bit lighter. That's the only difference. So they took the same head sculpts and made them, different shade. This one's a little bit lighter. Torpedoes is just a little bit darker. The other ones kind of match the other diver. Now this guy, pop that off. Head sculpt popped right on. And the reds don't match. You can kind of see a little bit of red underneath. Maybe a little bit in the top part. So that kind of looks cool, because you don't get to see the whole thing being red. Then it doesn't mess with your eyes as much, doesn't hurt your eyes as much. It's not until you see the whole thing that you're like, yeah, that's off, that's not right. Of course, you could do this the other way around. You got a diver going this way. That looks pretty cool, making it different. Solid black. Got that red there. Yeah, looks cool. And we'll actually try this too. How's that? What do you guys think? It's kind of cool too, in its own way. Don't think that's terrible. Very cool. All right, so overall, I think this set is pretty cool. It's all reuse, and it's done in a pretty nice way to give you a nice nostalgic throwback to those episodes where they are in the water in these suits, mass device type stuff. Or I think there's even a couple other episodes where you see the ketchup and mustard in there. But yeah, I think they're done pretty good. I'm glad they gave us the extra head sculpts. They come with quite a bit. One thing I always wanted for all of the divers outside of the seals was somewhere to store the fins on them. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Maybe if you had hooks on the belt somewhere, I think that would have been pretty awesome. Uh, and maybe somewhere to keep the spear gun also. Just gotta be creative, I guess. I got that one hooked around his wrist or his elbow, so it's pretty cool. The Cobra diver came with this little device here, and the shotgun versus our Joe did not. And I was kind of wondering why, or I'm wondering why they didn't give him one of these. I think that would have been cool for him to have one, but our seals have them, so I guess you could just borrow one from them pretty easy if you needed it that way. But yeah, pretty. Again, all reuse. Pretty cool way of doing the reuse. Again, the head sculpts, they some of them look the same, but it's kind of hard to tell because of the paint apps, and that's what makes it that much better. The seals look great with these guys. Those seals they come fully loaded, everything with on them, but that's also part of the problem, I guess, maybe because they don't stuff doesn't stay on them as well, and that's why they're all kitted out differently on my shelf to show different looks of them. And these guys are pretty streamlined. So yeah, I think they look really good. They nail the look, the feel for them, everything like that. Articulation is good. The paint apps are good. Comparing them to like the SEAL team, and the torpedo, the face paint looks a little bit different, like updated. So that's a really cool thing. Yeah, nothing really super bad to say about it. You kind of know what you're getting into if you have any of the divers, like the SEAL team or torpedo. Even some of that eel, like the chest portions look the same, but he's a little more different than the rest of them. But still, you get a pretty good idea of what you're getting with these guys. You're just doing it for a nostalgia thing. I don't even know. There might be people who just skip it because it's just not for them. It doesn't resonate with them. It's just like, because the torpedo and the SEAL team and the eels look so different from them, and that's okay. They hold their own, and it kind of satisfies anything else. This is just something extra for guys that are wanting like every look and like certain characters that maybe show up a couple of times. I think that's pretty cool. Some background characters, these divers. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest things about it. One of the coolest things about it. Nice little throwback. Who thought we were going to get these guys? I didn't. Not at all. And again, this one was like Target exclusive, and I was able to get on the app and get it after release date or on release date, or maybe I ordered it before release date, but it was released to me on release date, something like that. I'm hoping these guys aren't super hard to find for anybody that's wanting them. It's gonna be a tough one. I try to show as much as I can to help you out in deciding whether it's for you or not. The differences between the divers and everything like that. Hopefully, I showed you enough to help you out. Deciding whether it's for you, whether you need it or not, that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for this review. I will catch y'all in the next one. Later.